Hello everyone, welcome back to UiPath tutorials. In this video, I'm going to tell you how we can download a file from Sharepoint. Now, if you have a Microsoft account, that's good. You can easily do that. But if you don't have the Microsoft account, then you can use a free trial for 1 month. Now, for that, what you have to do, you have to write Office 365e. When you write Office 365e, in the Google, you will see a link here, Office 365 E3 Microsoft. Click on it. Once you click on it, this page will open. Now here you see there are two options, buy now and free trial. So we want to go with the free trial. So click on the free trial. You have to give your email ID and fill out the form. Basically, it's a normal form. You have to give your information. Once that is done, your email ID will be created. Now, when your email ID is created, it will be look like this. Now this will be a name, this will be a domain dot on microsoft.com. Once this is created, once this email ID is created and you logged into the account, your account will look like this. So this is a URL office.com. So when you write office.com, this page will appears and you have to click here and then go to the SharePoint. For me, I have created this site. If you don't have any site, you can just click on the create site and then you can choose any of them. Like team site I have selected, you can select any of them. Once this site is created, now you will see when site is created, it itself have this path. Now my site have a path like my UI path because I have created that folder. If you see, when I go to the documents, this is my site, my UI path. Inside my UI path, in the documents, I have some of the documents here present. Now documents you can create from here by clicking on this and you can go to any of the document. For example, let me click on Excel, write down something, save it. Now when you see this is just created a few seconds ago. Once you have set up the site, from here you can also visit your sites. So the sites I have created is my UI path. When you click on it, my site is having these options like this much of tabs: home, conversation, documents, notebook. For now I am just using documents only because I want to download a document from here itself. So far it is clear, right? Now similar stuff I have explained. You have to select a SharePoint. When you select a SharePoint, you have to create a site. Once you have create a site, on clicking this option, you will see the option to create it. Once you select any one of the option like create team site, let's assume you have selected that, then you have to give your site name. My UiPath I have given, and this address will be created automatically. Now this is very useful. We will going to use it in studio somewhere in the activities. Step 3 is create folder UiPath documents and create new Excel in folder. Now we have to go to the documents, create any file, any test file. And this is it. Now once this step is done, there is another step. Okay, let me open the documents, SharePoint as your settings. Now the second step is basically you have to go to this particular URL. When you go to this URL, this is Azure URL, and let me log in with my UiPath tutorials account. Once this is done, what you have to do, let me open the document first. Once it is logged in, you have to click on Azure Active Directory tab, and then you have to select app register. So when you go here and you see Azure Active Directory, you click on it. Okay, so for me the app is already created. I have created already, but yes, what you have to do after that, you have to click here and you have to go to the app registration. When you have to go to the app registration, here you have to give name, any name you can give, any name you can give here. You have to select this second option for the account. This option you have to choose, and here you have to select uh, this mobile desktop, and here you have to give this specific information. Let me, yeah, I have put somewhere above this also, this one. So this one you have to provide here, the same thing you have to provide it here. Okay, not to worry what is this, let's just provide it. Once that is done, what you have to do is click the overview to copy app id. Once that is done, that means your site is created, right? For me, I already created, so I'm not creating a site. So once that site is created, you have to go to the app services. Okay, you have to go to the Azure directory, and then you have to click overview. When you click on the overview, you will see here the information. So once you created app registration, it will be reflected here basically. Now you see the name is Annie here. This is a tenant ID. Okay, this information you will see it here actually. Now uh, just give me a minute. We have a tenant ID here. Okay, application client ID. Just looking for the information. Where it gone? It should look like this, where it have a display name, UiPath Azure apps. This is ID and this is tenant ID. Okay, let's create another one. Manage tenants. Tenant ID. Okay, what I can do here is, let me create a new one. Active Directory. If I'm not able to find it, I think the UiPath tutorial. This is the one. Let me check it once in a code. What I have passed. App ID is A3B. That is A3B. let me created one to not waste more time here. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to go to app registration, just create test UI path. I'm going to select this second option. I'm going to select this and then I have to provide the same information. I'm just copying it from here. Okay, now when you register it, okay, when you registered, you see it is created. The overview, in the overview it is showing that display name is test UI path. What I'll do, I am going to copy this. For now I'm putting it into notepad. So this is the first is basically a application ID, and I also required the tenant ID, so I'm putting the tenant ID here also. This is only required application ID and tenant ID for now. Okay, this step is done. After this, what you have to do, this we have created, right? This we have created. uh, Now click API permission, select Microsoft Graph. Now click on the API permissions. Let's see where is API permission. Here we have API permission. So you have to create basically a Microsoft Graph for all APIs. Now how to do that? I have already done it. So for that, basically you have to go to add permissions. You have to go here and then delegate permissions. Just select here files and you write down files. Here you will see a files tab and you have to select files read all, files read write, files read write all, and then add permissions. Okay, I have missed one more thing. When you click on this and this, you also have to provide a permission. Apart from files, there is one more thing, which is, so files you have already selected. Files read all files. Okay, read all files, and files read write, files read write all. These four checkboxes I have selected. Now I have to select sites here. I have to give some more permission of sites, which is sites read all, and the another option is read write all. Okay, this one is done. Okay, once this is done, permission is done, what you have to do next, you have to open the studio, go to the manage packages, and then you have to download Microsoft Office 365. So you have to search here Microsoft Office 365 in all packages and install it. So once install it, it will be present here. Now you have to drag drop the Office 365 from the activities. Office 365 scope, this you have to drag drop here, and then you have to pass a certain parameters, application ID, tenant ID, and in the services you have to select files and the shared, these two checkboxes. Rest will remain same, and username and password you have to give. Now I have created a variable for each. Application ID I have created, tenant ID I have created, and username and password. Now let's see in the variables. Application ID, if you see here, just give me a minute. I'm going to pass here the application ID, which is this, the one that I have created just now. Let me copy it for now. Just for a backup, I'm placing it here. Okay, now what I'll do, I am going to put the actual keys which is present. So this is what we have created, the app ID, and this is the tenant ID. Okay, this is done. Now here you have to pass your user ID. So for me, this is UiPath tutorials at the rate myuipath tutorials dot on microsoft.com, and then the password. So for password, you can give it here also if you want, but for now I have given it here. I have used get password activity, and here I've given my password, and the result is coming into the string. Now when you drag drop find files and folders, because we have done with the scope, now let's see the activity find files and folders. Now everything will be present in SharePoint. If you write down SharePoint also, now you see everything is present here, SharePoint list files. So but I want to find files basically, so I write down the find files and folders and just drag drop here in the properties. The query, you have to write down which file you have to download. So I want to download, if you go back to the SharePoint, I want to download this doc. Now output you have to define here file name and then get result. Now when you go to the variables, you see this file name, its variable type is not a string, it's a drive item, and similar way this is a dry item, but it's a kind of array of dry item. Now both output I've created. Here you have to provide the drive name. My drive name is documents, so it will be same for all, like documents. And then site URL. Site URL is something which I have initially told you. This one, this I have created as a site, right? So I have to give this whole URL as a site path. So similar thing I have provided here. If you see, I have provided here, you see this similar thing I have provided, copy and paste it here in the site URL. Once that is done, I have just put it here the count, just to check whether the file is downloading or not. I mean, what is the count of the files in the document folder. Then download file. In this particular activity, you have to pass the file name of this. If you go to the property of files and folder, you see the file name, this one you have to pass it here, file name. And this download location is something which will this is the location where the file will going to be download to the local folder. So for now I have given a local folder as, scroll down, this one I have given for now in the output folder, which is in my process itself or project folder itself. Okay, this is done. Let me run it now and see the results. So you see the count is 1, and when we go to the folder in the output, we'll see the file is downloaded. Okay, now let's download the another file, which is test.xlsx. Now let me run it again and see the result. Let's see the output, it is 1 again, and yes, it is downloading the file. So this is how you can download the files from SharePoint. Thanks for watching my video, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye.